Do you hear that? The pure panic of a cyber attack. The endless alerts of component failure and power loss. Can you hear it? Neither can we.
5 reasons men love True Classic. 1. They're designed to be tighter around your arms, chest, and shoulders. 2. They're looser around the belly, making you look slimmer than ever before. 3. They come in a wide range of colors. 4. They won't shrink in the wash. And 5. You're gonna look sexier than ever.
Would you vote for someone held civilly liable if a woman's against her will? Raise your hand if yes.
Trump is a nationalist. He's a horrible man, he's selfish, he's racist, and he wants to make money. And that is why he's a good man for the country.
Welcome back to our biggest middle ground ever. This is part 2. In part 1, we heard these two sides discuss the issues, and we even heard some middle ground solutions offered.
There are women who...
All right, reacting to part 2 of Democrats versus Republicans. The first part I thought was pretty good. There's some sides I agree with the Republicans, some sides I agree with Trump. There will never be a point where I'll just leave it at that. Let's react to part 2.
Who are forced to have babies that they did not want to make. That's what we're talking about.
Okay,
we're
but
talking about
hold
the
on.
lives
So
that are not here yet.
Hundreds of thousands of Jews used to live there, and now there's less than 50. And in a lot of states, 1 Jew left. So don't talk to me about
creates competition.
The focus is, who do you think would be a better president, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
I think at the end of the day, we have to really look on race issues. I think when it comes to record, that Donald Trump has had a far better record when it comes to race issues, when it comes to HBCUs, when it comes to the First Step Act, when it comes to opportunity zones, and I think also when it comes on to school choice as well, because school choice creates competition within the school districts, so then you can send your kid out of your district if their school is not good and is not teaching your kid. So I think at the end of the day, it's pretty stark when it comes to record, and I think Kamala Harris doesn't really have a good track record when it comes to when she was a DA in California and all the minorities she put in prison for minor drug offenses. So I really would like to ask you guys on this side, why do you think with that track record that Kamala Harris is a better option than Donald Trump?
School choice takes money out of public school systems, which I know you guys don't like that. It's too woke for you. That's fine. But that's what's actually happening with school choice. Ask Betsy DeVos. I mean, Betsy DeVos. It was horrible. Donald Trump, I mean, we can go down the whole, twice impeached, convicted felon, blah, 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 blah. Coherent sentences. Kamala Harris does that. And but she's not a narcissist. She doesn't think of just herself. She thinks of us.
I want to respond to him really quick because he listed a whole bunch of reasons that had nothing to do with race. Like, I'm talking about race right now and what Kamala Harris has done to help minorities in this country. I don't want to hear stuff about convicted felon. I don't want to hear stuff about twice impeached. I want to hear about convicted.
So he's like, I don't care about anything. I don't care how terrible anything Trump does. What does that have to do with race? That is the stupidest and most single vote issue. That single vote issue just doesn't make sense to me. The single policy issue, single vote issue, that just doesn't make sense to me. But we move.
Felons, you brought up drug felons. Because do you actually know, my friend, how many people went to prison under Kamala Harris as a DA for drug offenses?
Yeah, but how many people were convicted? That's the problem. When you have a criminal record, I'm asking you. It changes your life significantly. I do know. I do know. It was 1,940 people that were convicted, and a minute amount of that went to prison, but it still doesn't matter. They're still on probation. They still have a record.
Her administration convicted 45 men, black men.
They went to prison. That's not my statement I'm trying to say.
Can I ask you something as a black conservative? Your candidate says, I want to make America great again. You tell me when America was great, and then you tell me, would you go back to wherever it was great as a black American? And it's got to be before 2016, my friend, because that's when he was saying that.
I think America was great when everyone was benefiting from economic prosperity.
No, not general, sir. I'm asking for a specific time. When was America great?
If you want to know when America was great, ask any immigrant who...
That's what MAGA anytime MAGA, one of their MAGA cultists is being held to the fire, another one saves them. It's like clockwork. And then they ask a question that's completely irrelevant to the point it was being made. He couldn't answer the question. So she stepped in.
risk their lives to come here.
I really want to hear from
America
the black
is
man on
great.
this. I really want to hear from the black man on this because the second part of my question is, would you go back to that time? When was America great?
America was great when everyone had equality and everyone was moving towards equality. That's when America was great.
What year was
That's
that,
when America
sir?
was great. After the Civil Rights Movement, that's when America was great and making progress in change.
So let's say the late 1960s, you're saying as a black man, you would transport yourself back to the 1960s.
No, I think America was great when economically everyone was doing better. When we're making progress towards equality, that's when America was great. And
so the sum of the condition of America was when people had economic equality, and you think that was the 1960s?
No, I never said that was the 1960s. I said everything past that. I said everything past that. We've made so much progress from then.
In the 8 years that Donald Trump has been involved in politics, I've seen all the Make America Great hats and all the great T-shirts and all that great stuff. But I'm trying to figure out, as a, I think, intelligent black man, well, when would I go back?
So I do have an answer for you in this equation. Those years will be 2017 to 2021. Alice.
You're a tool, Chandler. Oh my goodness. You are a little bot. Jesus, I lost so much respect. That was the stupidest answer I've ever heard in my life. He said, make America great again in 2016. How the hell are you going to name 2017 to 2021? Are we serious? Are we just, oh my God, bro. That's so
Alice Johnson is free right now. And I know you want to pigeonhole me into a period. All right, you want to go to prior to 2016? Let's look at the Reconstruction era when we had black Americans as a whole that were finally free from the scourge of slavery because of what happened in the Civil War. They banded together to create something.
The best period for America was after the Civil War, when America was treated as second-class citizens still? Bro, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Oh my God.
Called the Republican Party, and the Democrats created something called the Ku Klux Klan to find and exterminate as many of those recently freed black men as possible.
Bro, what are you talking about? How the hell are you going to say that was the greatest period, but also say it's the KKK exist? Like, you're just talking points. You're a tool. You're a little bot. I can't, like, bro, the amount of respect I lost for you in the matter of like 3 sentences is crazy.
Fast forward then to the 1960s, if you want to. We had Lyndon Baines Johnson, Democrat president of the United States, who said, I will have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And then he brought the Great Societies Act,
Guys,
put us all on welfare,
it's not working.
and emphasized Margaret Sanger to exterminate as many of us as possible.
Chandler, it's not working. Let's move on.
I want to collectively, let's all bring it down for a second and just speak socially about what's happened since 2015. I grew up Republican. My mother is literally on that side right there. And I do not remember it ever being like this. And the reason that it became like this, in my opinion, was because of Donald Trump.
Wow, his mother's on the other side is kind of crazy.
Right? So we saw this insane racial divide. We saw the increase in Asian hate crimes. We saw the racist xenophobia. When we talk about illegal immigration from the last episode, we never talk about the white ones. We're only talking about the brown ones, right? So like, there's all of these social issues that have changed. Like, honestly, I am less attached to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump than I am to you. I'm gonna interact with you far more often. And so why do we feel that like we can't just, like I went to, and on the break, like I went and got a coffee, and it was like chill, right? Like that's how it should be. It used to be like that. I remember when it was like that. And the reason that it is so polarized and it's so toxic, and the reason that we're like cutting off family members and like blocking people on Instagram is because of Donald Trump, you guys. It really wasn't like this. And I just need you to acknowledge, just acknowledge the change.
Respond to that. What happened with Donald Trump actually became an expression of what Republicans were feeling for years.
Oh my goodness, this is literally what a cult would say. Their leader was an expression for what they've been feeling this entire time. This is a cult. This is literally going to be cult rhetoric. This is not going to be substantive. It's just going to be I don't know.
We've been taking the brunt of a whole bunch of stuff. We've had Hillary Clinton call us a basket of deplorables. She
called the racist deplorables. Do you identify with who she called deplorables?
Wait, she called us basket of deplorables. I remember Julia Roberts got on the television. She said that Republicans are somewhere between reptiles and repugnant. We've been taking it, the name calling. You had Obama talk about those people with guns and whatever. We've been hearing all these things, getting peeps of these things behind.
Working class voters, they get bitter, they cling to guns or religion or antipathy to people who aren't like them, or anti-immigrant state sentiment or anti-trade sentiment as a way to explain their frustrations. Set of working class voters into this.
The curtains. The
like
difference between Donald Trump and those people is that Donald Trump says out loud what you guys, or not you guys, but what the Democrats have been saying in private. And what's happened is the Democrats has now been recorded and it's come out, all of their stuff. But both sides have been saying everything. And so finally, Republicans said enough. With the Tea Party came out, taxed enough already. We said no more. We got to stop this, man. And we just got. I get so frustrated about it.
We heard your son say he remembers a time when it just wasn't like this. Do you agree?
No, and the reason that I don't agree is
come on.
Wait, no. Well, in our home, everything was peaceful and copacetic. But what's happened...
was. Emphasis on was copacetic, and then it changed. We never fought like this. Our family was never this separate until Donald Trump. And that's my point, is that it wasn't always like this. Your party has changed.
Right.
And you guys keep letting it change. This is not the Republican Party that I grew up in. Y'all just like move with this like hive mindset where he says something and y'all are like, yes, sir. And I'm like, that's weird. It's weird, y'all. You don't push back on your politicians enough.
So
you
you
let him
have to
change
chill.
your mind.
I have to do the mommy thing and go like that.
Okay.
And the reason is because we never came to you and we never trashed the Democratic Party. We said, look, these people are saying these kind of things. We kept our mouths shut. But once Donald Trump came out and he said that the things that we all were thinking. When he came out and he said, this is a shithole country.
Stuff?
This is happening here. People were thinking these things. And Donald Trump was just boorish enough to say what people were thinking. And Donald Trump is not Donald Trump is not a politician. He's a regular Joe average guy.
That is the problem.
So anyway.
Let's stop there. Let's hear a new voice on this side.
Yeah, I think what also perfectly highlights how disruptive the Republican Party has gone is the debates. We see Trump debating people, it always devolves into chaos. We saw the J.D. Vance and the Tim Walz debate. Even though I don't agree with J.D. Vance on a lot of things, they were able to have a productive comment. And the underlying factor is Trump. Because if Trump had been in the debate, it would have devolved into madness. And I feel like he's ruined debates, made them more contentious. He's made discussions between people more contentious because he sees it as a more personal standpoint rather than a political standpoint.
Okay, so this is the way I see things. Years ago, we didn't have this division. What we saw as Republicans starting in 2016 was Hillary Clinton pay for a foreign dossier to set President Trump up for Russia collusion. We went through $40 million.
$113,000 fine for funding and then misreporting spending on research. The Steele dossier, the Mueller special counsel cost approximately $32 million. I need more context with this. Also, it's very interesting. So the strategy of the MAGA cultists is to blame Hillary Clinton for why there's such a cult hive mind. Interesting.
$1 of a special counsel. We have had 8 years of lawfare, including the current 700 years they're trying to get him to serve in prison. We've seen assassination attempts. Now, the biggest problem that I see is we've got an invisible fourth branch of bureaucracy that is unelected, that has more power than our elected officials. We've got a media that's lying to the American people on both sides, dividing.
So the government is against Trump. The courts are against Trump. The media is against Trump. Any social media that is alternative media that disagrees with Trump is against Trump. Everybody's a liar and they're corrupt. But my holy savior, Jesus Trump. Got it.
Us. And until we do our own research and we see what's going on for real, we're in big trouble. Donald Trump cannot be bought. Elon Musk he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. How are you going to buy a billionaire? He's already got the money. Think about the threat to this unelected bureaucracy when you've got people like Elon Musk, RFK, both Democrats, and Donald Trump, who was also a Democrat, coming.
You know, it's funny how they cry about the unelected bureaucracy that is input by the executive branch and the president, but they're going to be completely okay with Donald Trump creating his own unelected bureaucracy because they don't care. There's a double standard. They're just They're just a culty, mindless drones
together to say, you know what? We're going to take on big pharma. We're going to take on the military war complex, and we're going to put the American people first.
I just want to respond to the American first claim, because Donald Trump has never once put every single American first. It's only the Americans that he thinks deserve it, such as the upper class and white people, honestly, because he's time and time again, the first statement he made whenever he ran for presidency in 2016 was, Mexico, they're not sending our best. And you're telling me that what he said was what you've all been thinking. That's already racist. That's already inherently racist. Mexico, I'm not saying you're all racist, but that is what that statement is. It's a racist generalization of Mexicans. So he's never stood for every people. He's not stood for trans people. All of you have constantly said that trans people are mental illnesses, that trans people, that it's just in their mind, that they don't actually feel this way. Like at the end of the day, I don't necessarily, I can be somebody who says that my party isn't completely right on all things, right? But I can confidently say that Kamala Harris over Donald Trump stands for more Americans than Donald Trump ever has.
If transgenderism is not a mental illness, then why is the suicide rate in the transgender community 40%, which is higher than Jews in Nazi Germany concentration camps?
Mental illness and mental disorders are two separate things.
So my name is Ryan Leon. Just like Ren said, I don't agree with everything that Democrats do, but I think Kamala Harris, at least she's putting forth policies that are more populist that I think everybody can get behind. So I got married 6 months ago. I'm looking forward to creating a family, and she has a proposal for $6,000 for the first year. More money for small businesses, like $50,000, I think it was, and as well as help for helping Americans get their first home. So it's policies like that that are actually solutions that people need in their communities and in their lives to help move the country forward. Whereas I see Donald Trump, once again, he's kind of having us talk about him, right? He's the center of attention. And I don't want to talk about him, I want to talk about the solutions. As far as what his side is offering, I've heard deport all the illegals, I've heard, build a wall and those things. I don't think that helps us as a people in our everyday lives, and we need to move forward with that.
Life wasn't bad under Trump. Like, you still have a job, right? You have a job. Everyone had a job in this room, I'm assuming. I would hope. But America's always been great, but it's even been greater with Trump being in presidency because we had money. We went to war. There was war that was over in.
He was still in foreign conflict. As for money, he inherited Obama's economic system, and then COVID happened, and he spent a lot of money. But context doesn't matter.
In Afghanistan, Kamala Harris doesn't even know what's going on over there. I have military friends that are over in the Middle East. She's like, oh, there's no one over there. She doesn't know that because she doesn't know foreign policies.
A criticism I frequently have, and this is a chance for you guys to prove me wrong, of conservatives, specifically MAGA conservatives, is it seems like Trump can't drop a shit without you guys running to that's the new thing. So I just want to get a hand count really quick. This is not a flame or backhanded. I'm serious. I'm genuinely interested. Can you raise your hand for me if there's anything major, legislation or otherwise, that Trump has done over the last few years that you disagree with?
I understand what you're saying. You're saying it's a cult-like mentality, correct? That he does anything, we follow along with it. 100%. There's people in this movement that do that. We call them grifters. I will criticize, if he wins, if he loses, either way, I'm criticizing these people no matter what. Obviously, I'm a pro-choice Republican. That ain't very popular, I'll tell you.
She says that. I respect it. But Emily, you were attached to the fact that you said if the states want to bring back slavery, you're okay with it. That was such a stupid statement to make. Oh my goodness.
The only thing is, on the other side, I've made fun of this for a long time. I think it goes both ways. I think we can agree on that. But it was literally a meme where it was like, okay, Ukraine.
You cannot agree. The woke left is so self-destructive. There's no way you're agreeing. Nobody's agreeing with the left being cult-like. They are maybe within subsections, but they are not cult-like for the Democratic Party. Not even close. To the point where it's like, bro, you guys are not cohesive enough. Like,
flag
Jesus.
in bio, Palestine flag in bio, vaccines, masks, all these things. Like, you cannot admit that you guys are not equally, if not more insanely cult-like. They literally were like, Biden's done. Kamala is our president. It's like, it's a fucking meme for a fucking reason. Give me a fucking break.
Okay.
That's the
nobody voted for her. We voted for Trump.
That is the stupidest point I've ever heard. Oh my God. That was so dog shit. They're a cult because some of the woke lefties who don't support Biden and don't support Kamala are the pro-Palestinians. Like they hate the Democratic Party more than probably the Republicans. Are you fucking retarded? And then what did you say? Oh, they went from Biden because Kamala is the Democratic nominee, of course. Like, how's that cool? Like, yo. MAGA cult
real quick.
You took
piss
a
me off.
bullet for this country.
Time out. Time out.
I
Just want to point out,
but she
we
sounds
did not hear a
stupid.
specific thing that somebody on this side disagrees with about Trump. So let's close that loop, and then we'll go back to you guys.
Yeah, I totally disagree with how Trump handled COVID because I wish he didn't spend all that money giving out these stimulus checks and things like that. And I wish he didn't promote the vaccine as much as he did because, to be honest, that is a big reason why there are problems in our economy right now. That being said, I do think that while Trump is not perfect, he's the best option we have right now with the biggest problems our world is facing, such as war that has erupted everywhere during the Biden administration, which there was not a single war under Trump, and also the invasion on our southern border, which I know the Democrats are
picking and choosing. Defense records show 65 active troops died due to hostile action during Trump's presidency, including those fighting ISIS, which took credit for defeat.
Are trying to pretend they're so pro securing the border now, like you guys haven't been calling us racist for the past 10 years for caring about illegal immigration.
Sarah, to respond to you about illegal immigration, just very quickly, if I were to give you the test that my parents had to take to be allowed.
This is a stupid point. I already know, bro. I swear, bro. I'm one of the few people on this platform that calls out stupid Democrats, but you MAGA cultists are worse. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are worse.
In this country legally, would you pass it?
If I studied,
That's such a stupid point. Who cares?
But you were born here and you got citizenship just by being born here. You should know all this because you learned it in school, no?
I was actually born in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And guess what? I was born a dual citizen, but
okay,
so
well there's that. You're
here.
a dual citizen.
Yes, I'm here legally. That's what that means. And if I was
That's stupid. The fuck that? No, that's not what it means. What? Why are people saying stupid stuff in front of me? Why am I
given a test? I would study and take it. Did your parents have time to study?
My parents, their first languages are not English.
Oh, okay. So
you get to take it in English. My parents are from the Philippines.
I don't care, bro. Who cares? I don't care about your parents taking the citizenship test. What? I'm skipping, bro. I could
had to learn English from Canada, sure, but you were.
I'm skipping, bro. This is stupid. This whole.
You probably were not different from mine.
Okay, so I'm gonna respond to this because I came from a very poor country, third world country, and I speak 4 languages, and you guys can still hear my accent. When I first moved here from Haiti to college, I had to take
I wonder how he felt about Trump's
TOEFL
Haiti
test
comments.
to be able to get into college, and I did it. Every single exam in my first year of college, I had to translate everything into French in my head first to understand what the question is asking and then answer the question. Guess what? Everybody had 1 hour, whatever the time is to do a test. It took me also an hour to do all that. I never once thought that I was a victim. But let me tell you something, though. This country is built on immigrants. I like that. But at the same time, Democrats is at a point right now where they are shipping a bunch of illegal immigrants. They don't even know who they are. Even people from my own country. We have actual criminals. Don't shake your heads because I'm Haitian. I speak Creole very, very clearly, and I still have families in Haiti. We have criminals from my own country traveling here to the border. And where they are placing them in the black communities, like for example in Chicago, they are closing indoor playgrounds.
Where are you getting this talking point? You think the America's letting in criminal Haitian immigrants and putting them in asylum? If you know they're criminals, that means America knows it's criminals. And if America knows it's criminals, they're legally not allowed to be in the country. What are we doing? Why are we acknowledging this stupid shit? What are we doing? Well, it's just like MAGA talking points that doesn't fall into reality. It's ridiculous.
Where black kids and Hispanic kids are using during the winter time to, not just that, but also to keep them off the street. What they are doing, they are putting these people inside those places, and they are taking funds away from the people who are there. So as an immigrant, I think it's the worst thing for this country, for black people, Hispanic people, to vote Democrats, because you guys have been leading this country for 16 years. Even when Obama was president, black America was the worst it's ever been. Trump has done the most he's ever done in just 4 years. So cut the bull crap.
I'm gonna be really quick. I just want to respond to two earlier points. We mentioned like Elon Musk and like RFK being former Democrats. Where's Trump's entire previous cabinet? Where's Mike Pence? They can't even endorse him. Every single person that worked with Trump doesn't even support him this time around. And then to your earlier point, there was no wars. What did Trump actually do? Trump signed the Abraham Accords, which sidestepped the Palestinian issue and created the exact same kind of conditions that led to things like October 7th. If you had a single clue about the way the Middle East politics worked, or even in the case of Russia, Ukraine, he did nothing to end Russia's occupation of the Donbass and Crimea.
And this fact check
did nothing.
The Abraham was a treaty that normalized relations between Israel, the UAE, Morocco, Bahrain, Sudan, promoting peace and religious understanding to normalize ties with Saudi Arabia. Continue
to end Russia's occupation of the Donbass and Crimea. You would know that Trump's
during the U.S. provided Ukraine with hundreds of millions in military aid, including Javelin. I don't think this fact check only tells what the intention of the bill is, but it doesn't tell the full context, because the point he's making is that the bill, even though it did do that for Israel and these other Muslim countries, for the Palestinians in particular, it left them out of the negotiation table. And I don't know why Ukraine was brought up.
Foreign policy is not based in reality, and just the fact that two wars may have happened to have started under Biden's administration is not a causational argument.
Okay, so he addressed me, so I want to address you back. Okay, so first of all, we've got people that want to take on Big Pharma, that want to take on the military-industrial complex, and as far as you saying about the border, the Biden administration has lost 325,000 missing migrant children. And that should be a big deal to everybody in this room.
Lost. All struggles to track unaccompanied migrant children, with 32,000 missing court hearings and 291,000 not receiving court notices.
325,000. There are, according to DHS right now, there are over 400,000 criminal aliens in our country right now. All we're asking for is a legal process, and I don't think that is too much to ask for. My husband's a legal immigrant, and he came here legally. Everybody that comes into this country, it should be a privilege.
Non-detained docket under the Alternatives to Detention program includes up to 425,000 convicted criminals living in the U.S. illegally. What is that? What is that? Alternate detention program, ICE's non-detained docket. I'm actually very curious. I'm gonna look this up because this might be an interesting Republican point. Non-detained ICE detention program. The request by IC. Interesting points. Interesting point. I don't know how
There's
I feel
not
about
another
it. I need
country
more
in this
context.
world that you can just walk across the border and say, "Give me a $5,000 debit card."
We're gonna stop
Not
you there.
only that, as
A
far
New York City program provided 150 immigrants with up to $4,000 each to move from shelters to permanent housing. The city council also approved $2.6 million in prepaid debit cards for 73,000 migrants. I'm guessing these are people who seek asylum. You can't just come across a border and just get it. So.
far as the Ukraine war, it wouldn't
Lauren,
have
we're not
happened
going
under
into
Trump.
Ukraine right now. You've had the mic.
Okay, well, he did. He hit 3 things. And as far as Hamas, give the hostages back. Yeah. Give the damn hostages back. Maybe we'll end the war.
Okay, Sam. I see Sam's ready with the
Okay,
mic.
so my main concern, I wouldn't say that I am strictly going to vote for any candidate just because of my political affiliation. If there is a corrupt Democrat as on the ticket, I'm not going to vote for them just because I'm a registered Democrat. And I don't think I can say the same for most, and I want to say most because I know there are some Republicans who would vote for Kamala Harris, and there are some Democrats that would vote for Donald Trump. For the most part, I don't see that same sentiment with the Republican Party. I cannot stand by and vote for a man who is held civilly liable in the state of New York for sexual assault against E. Jean Carroll by a juror of 9 people, 6 men, 3 women, with jurors that are selected by the attorneys in both parties. I can't vote for a man who's held liable with 34 felonies. If there was some sort of thing that would happen in any candidate for the Democratic ticket, I would be able to step aside and vote for a different candidate. And I just don't see the same sentiment with the Republican Party.
It's my opinion
gonna
that the sad
excuse all of
reality is that there's things that we should be able to argue and disagree on, taxes, border, and all that. But there's stuff that I think we should all reach to a consensus and find it deep within ourselves to understand. Gender affirming surgery on minors should just be inherently wrong. A minor cannot consent. So I think we should all agree on these things. When it comes to the border, Democrats like to pretend, and Republicans like to pretend like she's open border as well. She's really much closed border. She's just an ineffective politician at enforcing that closed border policy. People are still crossing over that she does not want. She said, "Don't come." 2021 and 2022 had the highest number of deaths crossing the border in history. I think we should all be concerned about that. If we want to have open border policy, let's have an open border policy. There's merits to that. Kamala Harris doesn't have that. So it's just farce to pretend like she is inclusive. She's just a bad politician that's making people cross illegally and kill themselves in the process.
I take back all that nuance. He thinks that Kamala Harris He thinks Kamala Harris wants illegals to come so she can kill them. What are these takes by MAGA cultists, bro? What is going on? What is this reality I'm living in, bro?
Okay, I have 2 questions that I'm going to ask the opposing side. Would you vote for someone held civilly liable of forcefully penetrating a woman's vagina against her will? Raise your hand if yes. So all of you guys that didn't raise your hand, you guys are voting for a guy held civilly liable of forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will.
Can I prove it? Okay, I mean, I just want to say, like, the nature of this conversation, we should be assuming good intentions on both sides of the issue. Parker, you're...
I don't want to hear that when MAGA cultists say the stuff they say. I really don't. I don't believe any of
Your
that.
question is aimed to make us look like bad guys. That does not do good things for our country. That is why we are so divisive. That's why there are families that are dividing, because we're calling each other bad people, as opposed to just oh, they have a different outlook on things.
No,
they have
I
a
think
different
MAGA
view on
cultists
things.
are
Maybe they have a different
genuinely-
voting philosophy. Maybe for
Nope.
you don't want to vote for a convicted felon. But in our opinion, he's not actually a convicted felon, and so we're gonna vote for him. Or he's not actually guilty of that crime. But the point is, we can go back and forth accusing each other of you're a bad person or you're a bad person. That doesn't do anything for the conversation. It doesn't do anything for our viewers. Let's actually go back to the issues. Let's go back to policies instead of silly questions trying to make us seem like
let's ignore everything Donald Trump does. Let's ignore everything Donald Trump says and go to the imaginary issues that Donald Trump probably means versus Kamala Harris will actually go to the extreme on how it's so super bad, the issues she actually says. So, yeah, this is why I don't respect y'all, because there's no consistency. The way you guys approach MAGA cult rhetoric versus normal political rhetoric, because you can't criticize the Democratic Party. You're not as new. I mean, I don't know this guy. He talked about abortion. He actually won the debate, but MAGA cultists are lacking in that nuance. They're lacking in that nuance. They want to pick and choose which nuance that they care about. And they want to deny everything that if a Democrat would have done the same thing, they would harp on it extremely and determine that this person's a terrible candidate. I mean, this dude said that Kamala Harris invites immigrants to the country and wants them to off themselves. Like, that was
like bad
you guys
guys.
are ridiculous.
Okay, I'm Soraya. I haven't spoken yet, and in part that's because you guys are so smart, like on both sides. You know so much detail about so many things, and I'm almost glad that I don't, because I would be just as like angry, I think, as you guys if I knew as much information as you did. So my angle where I come from is I'm really against polarization. Like, that's my main thing. I really can't stand it. I adore people on both sides of the political spectrum. Like, I have family members and you know, just people that I adore, and they're all amazing, and they all make good points, and I listen to all of them. One thing that I've tried to look into is a little bit on the more historical side of things without getting too deep into all the nitty-gritty details, more like an overview. And one thing I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand that there's like been a rise of conservatism that actually started in like the 1960s that was happening alongside the kind of civil rights, you know, rallies that were going on. They didn't get any coverage. Civil rights people got coverage, and there were kind of two branches, and one was like a libertarian conservative who was really pro-free market, and then the others were more traditional conservatives that were really pro-tradition and family values. I'm hearing a lot more of that from you guys, and I'm saying that's great, you know, it's fine. One thing I kind of want my own side to understand maybe is that the right has been trying to be heard for a really long time, and the liberals definitely won the culture war, and in my opinion, it is a lot easier.
I think she's undermining my issue. Like, I love everything she's saying. My issue is she's undermining the amount of damage that their unwavering support of Trump has done to this country. I feel it doesn't matter.
To say how you feel as a liberal, it's not as easy to say how you feel as a Republican, and I think that's a really big issue. They have been silenced. We don't listen to them as much, in part because their views are something that we've decided are not okay.
But you're giving them all this ammo, but there's nobody on the Republican Party that'll do the same. That's the problem. Because that's why I said the Democrats are willing to be self-accountable. They are willing to hate themselves. They're willing to hate other Democrats. So to even consider that they're even equivalent in the cult, like it's crazy to me. I hate woke lefties. Woke lefties I've criticized so much, but MAGA has become one of the most rotten things I've ever seen in my life. It's worse than the woke lefties. It just is.
But we decided that, and history could have gone a different way, and we could have decided that they were right, and then we'd all be in. And I want to say,
I just don't respect it.
Before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is an app and website that is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and distrust. Their team of journalists believe that unbiased news should be the
I really don't. I don't think they want to hold Donald Trump accountable. I don't think they want to hold themselves accountable for their unwavering support. I just don't.
And just purely on the sake of the fact that every day our democracy is eroding, and I think we've been able to see it just in the past 6 hours that we've been here. We have divulged into chaos at just every single point of contention, and if we can't agree as a group of 60 people here, we're not going to be able to agree as a group of 300 million. And if our president won't agree that he lost the election in 2020 and gets another 70 million people around him, that is not a very good thing that is going to end well at all. And I think we all need to take a beat, realize that it's kind of batshit crazy that 4 years later, he's saying that I won the election. And there are millions of people on the right that are saying he's the president. It's a shadow government. The military's in control, all of that. We need to realize that that's not okay. And we need to come back to the middle and say in November, we're going to vote. We're going to have a civil, free, fair election. And Kamala Harris is going to get elected.
Okay. I'm not one of those Republicans that just thinks Trump's going to win because he's a Republican. I think he's going to win because he's the only person that stands on merit and he's authentic. The left has pushed so much rhetoric, harmful rhetoric.
I don't respect you. I don't respect you. Authentic? Authentic? What does that mean? What is harmful rhetoric? Donald Trump literally said that the evil within is worse than China and Russia. He said Democratic Party is worse than China and Russia. I just don't respect MAGAs, bro. I just don't, bro.
That I think people are starting to wake up to this. It is, excuse me, but it's bullshit. You guys push rhetoric that Trump's a Nazi, that everybody that supports him is a Nazi, and funny coincidence, he gets shot at. You guys are pushing this hate.
Funny coincidence, leftists get attacked. Okay.
Hateful rhetoric. We have celebrities and influencers that are saying.
Well, I think it, man. I think Donald Trump is ultimately so terrible. But you don't hear me calling him a Nazi. To be fair, I want to give him leeway, but if I give him any leeway, it's gonna make him it's gonna make people think that I don't think he's as bad as what it sounds like. I don't think he's a Nazi. I do think he has authoritarian and fascist tendencies. I don't think he's a Nazi. I don't think he's Hitler by any means. I think he wants ultimate power in the executive branch, and I think he wants to extend that power to the other two branches. And I think that the only reason why I think that is because he said it. He said it out of his mouth that he wants to do these things, right? So my issue with what he's saying is not that it's not true, because it can go too far, because the woke left is cringe. But the fact that you are not taking any accountability explains exactly why the beautiful soul that said what she said earlier is meaningless. There is no accountability. Absolutely none. Everything Trump says, you just laugh it off. So I don't respect MAGA cultists. I just don't.
They want to blow up the White House when he was in presidency. We have, Maxine Waters said that we need to take him out and shoot him. That is ridiculous. We don't have that language towards you guys.
Are you serious? Yo, I almost said F you to you. I can't believe you just said that with a straight face. With everything that Donald Trump... That's why I don't respect MAGA.
I'm not... And this is a personal experience for me.
No, I don't give a fuck about your personal. Oh, let me relax. It's just MAGA's unbelievable blind support and faith and belief in one man, to the point they care about this man more than the country, and they're willing to be hypocritical. They're willing to backtrack. They're willing to be two-faced. They're willing to lie for this man. If this same type of level of support was for Joe Biden, oh my goodness. I would cook the shit out of them. But
That's liberal. I have family that believes separate than I do. They're the ones that separated from me. I want to be with them. I want to see them. They don't want anything to do with me because of my beliefs. And I think people are starting to wake up to this crap that's going on because
that crap that you're no accountability.
People can
Move
see,
on. I don't care
he
what
would,
you.
he would be a racist.
Like a victim more.
Have anecdotal things we've heard about each other's party that we think is representative of how awful they are. We all resonate with feeling like we can't talk to people who don't believe the way we do. We all feel like we've been silenced. We all feel victimized. We all feel attacked.
She's shaking
the
her head.
election isn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no point of her saying anything. The MAGA cultists don't care about anybody else but themselves and their Lord and Savior. There's no point in like connecting with them anymore. I'm not gonna lie.
Going to be won or lost on those things. Elections are complicated civics. It's about who actually.
I don't believe that. It just pisses me off. It hurts me in my core being. It hurts me. I know I can connect with a MAGA cultist. The problem is after we have a good conversation, after we talk about solutions, have a real dialogue, you won't change. It'll be meaningless. It'll be empty. There won't be any meaningful purpose to the conversation. Because you have to go blindly support the man that you're committed to.
Shows up to vote. It's about who actually successfully gets their supporters out to vote. Donald Trump's campaign doesn't actually really have a ground game, by which I mean getting people knocking door to door, getting them out to the polls. He's outsourced that to a PAC that is funded by Elon Musk, which I'm not commenting on that except to say it's not as effective of a strategy. Meanwhile, the Democrats have thousands of field offices across the swing states in the United States. So, just structurally speaking, while there is, and this is a fact, there is an inherent electoral advantage for Republicans because of the way that Electoral College works, there is a structural advantage for Democrats insofar as we actually have a robust campaign that is meant to actually find people and get them out to vote, whereas, to be honest, the Republican Party is preparing to just challenge whatever happens.
I think Kamala's honestly just a shit candidate, and she's gonna f the country up. She's already had 4 years. No one's elected her. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Democratic Party wins only because of the way they have strategically undermined democracy, because Trump was almost assassinated. When you're constantly calling somebody a Nazi and a threat to democracy, that's what happens. Real political violence, and they are the ones who enable that. Identity politics too. She has radicalized millions of Democrats by telling.
It's just funny. I might not be able to finish the video. It's funny how they're saying this when Donald Trump does the same thing and they're trying to elevate themselves on a moral high ground. It's crazy to me. It's insane to me. God. They're blaming Democrats for a Republican trying to attack Trump. They're saying Kamala Harris is using identity politics when Donald Trump constantly is bringing up Christianity, constantly bringing up the MAGA's identity, by the way, just to be very clear. He's constantly villainizing illegal immigrants. Like, it's just crazy to me that y'all double standard is so unhinged.
Your entire identity revolves around your race, your gender, your sexuality. To the blonde dude over there, when I was speaking earlier, you talking about, you can't believe my standpoint on transgenderism because I'm a black gay man. You know nothing about me, actually. You assumed my sexuality. You assumed my race. I'm a mixed individual. I'm half Hispanic, half black, viva la raza, all that. And I'm actually bisexual. I can pull bad bitches when I want to. So you know nothing about me. It's projection because you're a black gay man.
I don't care. I don't care. He's just whining. I don't care about this back and forth. They're just whining like little children. Jesus Christ.
Which Republicans do not have the intellectual capacity to hold that conversation. So I just want to make it very clear. Donald Trump radicalized an insurrection on January 6th that killed, wait a minute, that killed one of y'all's side of the aisle. Let's be very clear. A young lady was killed there, and she was a Republican because Trump radicalized. Trump did not make the message or make the call to stop. Instead, he told him to storm the Capitol. And so one of y'all's lost their lives because of what he's done. So how do y'all explain that?
So again, I do want to say, Blossom, I will say thank you for at least saying that. I'd say my biggest talking point right now is no one can deny Trump did make a video where he did say he would ban transgender healthcare. This is the problem that I have with that, and it's that I don't think realistically he could ever do that. And do I think realistically he believes that? No. I think a lot of politicians say things to just kind of earn some points.
I'm done. This is what it means to be a MAGA cultist. Everything the left says is held at a high standard. Everything the Democrats say is held at a high standard. It's always you use the woke cringe lefties to utilize their BS to apply that to the entire Democratic Party when most Democrats do not agree with anything the woke lefties say. But you held it to a high standard. You turn everything that Kamala Harris does into the worst communistic Marxist thing of ever. You blame everything that bad happens to Trump on the left, not him. Trump gets no accountability. His indictments don't mean shit. His rhetoric, oh, well, I don't think he means it, and I don't think he'll do it. So what he says doesn't mean anything. Him when he does crappy stuff that makes people hate him, that doesn't mean anything. The entire government is against him. All the courts are against him. The people who turned away from him are against him. Bro, I gotta end the video because it's so annoying listening to MAGA cultists. It's actually frustrating to hear you guys talk about your allegiance and your loyalty to a billionaire who doesn't give two shits about you. It's ridiculous, and I'm so tired of this whole idea. Like, we've had people throughout throughout world history who use their influence and power and their power of manipulation and deception to convince a mass number of people to blindly follow them and do some of the worst things that you can do. And I've lost all my respect for MAGA. I just have. Now, I don't think people individually are bad when you're not like talking about Trump. But just like any cult leader, the cult, the people, they're good people, they're fine people. But anything referencing the cult topic, they become unhinged. They become demons. That's just how I feel about y'all. I think a lot of y'all are good people, like good core people. We could probably watch a sports game. We could probably watch a football game. We could probably watch a basketball game. We could probably play some video games, talk about anime, go work out, go to the gym, lift some weights. A lot of good things we could probably do. We could probably have a genuine conversation about solutions. But the moment Donald Trump is brought up in the conversation, your brain turns off. You become a loyal follower. I can't stomach watching the rest of this video because of how two-faced and the double standard of MAGA cultists are. I just can't physically do it anymore. I'm so tired of it. And I'm just ready for the election to happen. Who will win? I think Kamala needs to win for the country. But if Donald Trump does win, I won't say the election's stolen. I won't cry like a little bitch like all you MAGA cultists. I won't do any of that. I won't, want to go and create a whole insurrection against the government. I won't do any of that. I'm just going to step back and see what happens. And if he does any of the stuff that we've been saying that he says he's going to do, then I want all of you MAGA cultists to bend over and just follow him. If the world is meant to end, the world is meant to end. Now, if Trump ends up either an inefficient politician that is not able to get anything done like his first term, or he didn't get anything done besides the tax cuts, then fine. Or the second possibility is if he's actually a good candidate, he actually does good things for the country, then I will be happy for the country. Because I care about America. I'm not blindly loyal to a religious figure like Donald Trump, like you guys are. I'm happy. I don't care about Democratic principles versus Republican principles. I care about solutions that are better for the betterment of the people. And by extension of America's greatness, the world will be better off as well, as long as we continuously learn from our mistakes and peel back some of our control. I can't watch the rest of the video. Appreciate y'all. You have a good one. Take care. Peace.